Hey guys, it's Ethan here from Extreme RC4x4, and today I'm going to be talking about the RC4-wheel drive blade snowplow and exactly what I have done to improve it. And so let's just get started with that. So the first modification that I recommend you make is that you replace these shocks that are right here. I recommend that you replace those right here that force the blade down. I recommend that you replace those with some chain or string or something, and you can just take them off in the first place if you want to, but you really don't want to do that because you need something to catch the blade from folding completely under and tearing up your servo. So that basically some of the benefits of it are that it takes a lot of the load off of your servo. When you have those springs there, the springs are pushing down and your servo is pushing up, they're both fighting each other, and that doesn't really work out so well, so you definitely want to have these on here. Another thing I've done is added this linkage in the back right here, and this is on RC4-wheel drive Trail Finder 2. I have taken the linkage from the bottom of the snowplow right here all the way up to the first hole in the shock tower. If you can see that, just right here. And exactly what that does is that it takes away from the snowplow being able to kind of fold like this, as the mounts tend to do. The parts that kind of get a little bit soft and they wear down a bit quicker, I think, or just from hard abuse, the plow will tend to bend backwards like that. So having these here will allow you to maintain the highest lift possible from your servo, and at the same time be able to kind of have more control over it because the plow won't be flopping everywhere. So the next couple of modifications that I have made are definitely some of my favorites, and that is the trip blade right here, and the snowplow is also angled, if you can tell. So exactly how I achieved this, I'm going to talk about the trip blade first. So now that you've removed these shocks, you do not need them on the snowplow anymore because you have these chains. What you're going to do is you're going to replace this piece right here, which holds the plow, with this shock right here. But first you need to modify this shock. So we're going to start by removing this right here, just the rod end of it. And then we're going to remove the top also. Then you can remove the internal spring from it. And also I'd like to mention that if you do just want to replace these shocks, and you can use these shocks, just remove the internal springs from them if you'd like, that would also work, but the chain right here gives you a lot more adjustment. So getting on with this, you're going to have to remove the shock shaft completely from the shock. And something that I did try in the first place was to put this shock right here and then put it in, but that makes it really stiff when you have both shocks like that. So what I have here is a little box of springs that I have collected, you could say. Most of these are just from pens, so you can just take any old pen that's kind of dried out, just anything that you really don't care about. So this is just a little spring that I have. It is a bit longer than the stock one, but it's definitely a lot softer. So now what you're going to do is take this shock shaft with the threads pointing up, and you're going to slide the spring onto it. It's almost a perfect fit in my case. And then you're going to put it back into the top of the shock. And then you'll definitely need something to push it in there if you have a spring that's longer like mine is. And then once you push it through, you can reattach your rod end. And then after you're done with that, you can go ahead and screw on the top again, and then there you go, you're ready to start working on the trip blade. So now what you're going to do is you're going to replace this piece right here, which normally holds the blade, with our new modified shock, which wants to suck in instead of push out. So what you're going to do with that is just replace it right in the same exact position, and I have added a spacer in between the Snowplow and this top plow mount right here, just to space the rod ends apart from the Snowplow right here, so that that won't wear. The next thing I've done is I've angled the Snowplow. Now what this does is it kind of allows you to actually do something with the snowplow. When the plow is kind of straight, you're kind of out there plowing forever, just because the snow spills off both sides equally, and it makes it really difficult to push all the snow to one area. What the angled blade will allow you to do is push the snow off to one side of the plow, which eventually you'll be able to clear off an area completely. So I have run this a lot of times, and I've tested it a lot of times, and it seems to work really well so far. So I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. You now need to replace this piece right here on the bottom, which holds the bottom of the snowplow in with these screws right here. It sits right back here. You're just going to go ahead and remove it with these 2 screws on the sides, and then the 3 screws up front. After you do that, you're going to want to put a couple of rod ends in place like I have on the sides. So as you can see, these rod ends right here, they do replace that piece that was originally right there. And what I have on this side is the part that's going to be sticking out further. Also, if you angle it, you're going to want to attach a longer rod end to the side that sticks out further. That way it is not pulling on the spring of this shock right here. And then right here you can see there's another rod end with a screw and a small spacer to space the blade apart from the plow lift right there. So you're just going to want to put a screw and a lock nut, and then you always want to have your ball bearing right there in the rod end. Up at the top here I have 2 larger spacers that you can find in your parts bin of mainly any vehicle. And so that's a rod end right there with a ball joint in it, and then another lock nut. Once you've done this, you'll only be using 2 of the 3 mounting screws for the snowplow blade, and then this will allow you to angle your snowplow blade. This still allows the trip function to work as long as you have added this longer rod end right here and left the stock one right here. What the trim function will allow you to do is let the blade kind of release tension when it runs into an awkward object, and you can also add springs like the real one that would allow it to trip completely flat. Another thing that I've done is added this right here on the bottom. This is a cutting edge kind of scrape blade part. And what it is this is a piece, the plastic piece right here is a piece that comes when you buy new wiper blades for your car, and it fits around the plow really nice. And what I've done is put a little tiny strip of double-sided tape in there to hold it on. Alright guys, so I hope you've enjoyed my modifications to this snowplow. I think they help a lot, and I definitely think that somebody who has just gotten one should definitely run a stock and then do these modifications, just so you can see how much better it works before you just go right ahead and do this. Yeah, that's basically it. The other tip I have for you guys is that you use a heavy truck, because the heavier the truck is, the more traction you're going to get, especially in the snow. I also recommend that you put your battery inside of a sock or something to keep it warm, because the colder weather kind of makes the batteries fade away sooner, and it loses a lot more power faster. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this. And if you guys would like to see a snowplowing video, please let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video.